Upgrading weapons to increase their power and, more importantly, unlock all their perks requires a bunch of Chroma Catalysts. But certain catalysts, like the Resplendent ones, are particularly hard to find enough of. So let me show you all the best farms for each type of Chroma Catalyst. To go from level 1 to 3, every weapon needs 3 of the lowest rarity catalysts, which are just called Chroma Catalysts. Honestly, most weapons are already going to be higher than level 3 when you find them anyway, and even if you do find a weapon at level 1 or 2, regular catalysts are so common that you just don't really need to worry about them. But if you do need some, it's easy to just buy them from merchants. The next level up are Polished Catalysts. Every weapon requires 12 Polished Catalysts to go from level 3 to level 9, but again, it's pretty rare you'll be hurting for these. They drop from a fair number of enemies, and a lot of weapons are already going to be at least part of the way to level 9, or sometimes even past level 9 when you find them. But if you do need some, again, you can just buy them from a merchant. Merchants don't restock any of their items, but there's plenty of merchants to get regular and polished catalysts from. But the first type of catalyst you're really going to need to farm are the Resplendent ones, and I would argue these are the most important ones in the game. Weapons need 27 Resplendent Catalysts to go from level 9 to 19, and a couple really important things happen in that range. At level 10, a weapon's second special perk gets unlocked, and the level 10 perks are often some of the most useful ones. And also, going from level 9 to 19 is, of course, most of the leveling you need to get to level 20, which is when a weapon's third and final perk unlocks. Now, you can buy some Resplendent Catalysts from merchants, which you should absolutely do anytime you come across them so you don't have to go track them down later. But you definitely still need a good farm to get enough of them if you're trying to upgrade multiple weapons. So the best one I've found is the Gargant inside the monolith near the Tainted Hearts flag. This guy drops a guaranteed 3 Resplendent Catalysts every time you take him out, and he's not far from the Tainted Hearts flag, so you can easily go back and rest to make him respawn. With a strong enough build, you can one-shot him, and each run takes just over 60 seconds. So you can basically farm at a rate of 3 Resplendent Catalysts per minute, which is the fastest reliable farm I've found. To get there, you first need to head inside the monolith portal and run all the way to the secondary portal because, unfortunately, the first flag inside the monolith doesn't let you fast travel for some reason. Then run a bit further to get to the entrance flag where you can fast travel to the Tainted Hearts flag. Then you just turn right from the Tainted Hearts flag and head down the main path over a little bridge and take an immediate left after the bridge to find the Gargant. I like to use a one-shot Mael build for most of my farming, which you can see all the Lumina for right here. You don't necessarily need all of these, but Painted Power is definitely necessary so you can exceed the 9,999 damage cap, and then the idea with all the rest is to basically just boost Mael's damage output as much as possible. The goal is to maximize single shot damage, so it's basically a solo glass cannon build. Augmented First Strike, Solo Fighter, Inverted Affinity, First Defense, and Confident Fighter do a lot of the damage boosting here, but adding in Glass Cannon, Empowering Last Stand, Greater Powerful, Powered Attack, Powerful Shield, Shield Affinity, In Medias Res, and Tainted will boost damage a lot as well. And make sure you actually remove the other characters from the party so Mael is on her own in battle to ensure the solo Lumina activate. If you need help finding any of the Pictos for these Lumina, I'll link you to my video on all the best Pictos below, and I'll remind you at the end of this one. For Mael's weapon, it's really convenient to just use Medellum while farming, so she starts immediately in Virtuose stance, so you can stack another 200% damage boost on top of all the Lumina. Although, if you need to boost damage even more, you can use a different weapon and then use Mael's Last Chance skill paired with the At Death's Door Lumina to get another 50% boost. You'll probably want the Cheater Pictos equip in that case to ensure Mael can play a second turn to deal damage immediately after using Last Chance. But whatever exact build you want to use, once you've got all your damage boosts stacked up, you just need a high damage skill for Mael to one-shot with. Of course, Stendhal is an obvious choice, and it will definitely give you huge damage, but the animation for it is actually kinda long, which wastes a bit of time while farming, and if Mael is strong enough, you can get away with other skills. I personally like Phantom Strike because the animation is faster and it hits all enemies on the battlefield, which will come in handy for some other farms. For her stats, Medellum's attack power scales with agility and defense, so you definitely want to pour a lot of points into agility at least because that will help make sure you can play before the enemy anyway. You can use a recode if needed to reallocate points. But the only issue with the Gargant farm is that it obviously comes pretty late in the game, and to farm it efficiently, you need to have Mael or whatever character you want to use at least level 70 or so. So if you want to farm Resplendent Catalysts earlier, then you can use the Joy Veil farm in the Visages region. Start by heading into the main portal to enter Visages, and then similar to the Monolith, you need to run for a while to get to the Plaza flag where you can fast travel. Once you're there, you can just fast travel to the Joy Vale flag and you'll be ready to farm. And this one is super simple. You're literally just going to turn left from the Joy Vale flag, head up the little hill directly next to the flag, and take out the Contortioniste that spawns up there. It's guaranteed to drop one Resplendent Catalyst every time. You only need Mael at level 40 or so to kill it quickly with a skill, and if you're a much higher level, you can do it even faster by just spamming free aim shots. Sometimes the Contortioniste actually starts the battle standing still, and you can one-shot it with a free aim shot by nailing it in the eye. Either way, once it's dead, you just need to turn around and run off the ledge to drop down and run up to the flag again where you can rest, force the Contortioniste to respawn, and start again. Each run takes about 30 seconds when you get fast at it, so you can do about 2 per minute. Slower than the Gargant farm, but accessible much earlier and at a much lower level. Oh, and another tip for any farm, if your farming character's speed/agility stat is high enough to ensure you get to play first, or if you're using the first strike Lumina to ensure that, it's actually better to not do the manual first strike to start battle. The animation for that to transition into battle is a bit longer than just running headfirst into the enemy, so it's better to just run into them and skip the manual first strike when farming. But another Resplendent farm you can access even earlier, and that also sometimes gives polished catalysts, is the Stalactite on the map just north of the coastal cave. This is where Phantom Strike becomes really useful, since there are a couple of other enemies along with the Stalact. To run this farm, once you defeat the enemies, you can either fly over to the coastal cave portal or swim around to it, depending on how far you are in the game, go in the portal for just a moment, then turn around and come right back out and head back over to find the enemies respawn. Now, the only issue with this one is after a few runs, the enemies actually won't respawn for a while, and you either need to go to your camp or head off to enter and exit a different portal to force them to come back. So it's not really the most efficient farm, but you can access it quite early. Each run takes about 1 minute with a mid-game build or 30 seconds with an end-game build, and you'll get a Resplendent Catalyst every time. But there's one more Resplendent farm you need to know about that's also guaranteed to give you Color of Lumina. This one is back inside the Monolith again, like the Gargant, but you start from the Tower Peak flag this time. From the flag, turn around to the left and go directly up the stairs and past the pair of enemies to the left, keeping the statue on your right to head out along the broken pathway directly behind them. Keep going along the edge until you get to a point where you can grapple across to a spot right in front of a small staircase. Head right up that staircase to find a Clair, an Obscur, and a Clair Obscur. This is the group you want to fight, and just like the Stalact farm, Mael's Phantom Strike makes quick work of them if she's powerful enough. Level 75 or so should let you one-shot them if you've got enough damage boosting Lumina equipped. They're guaranteed to drop 3 Resplendent Catalysts and 5 Color of Lumina each time, which is fantastic because Color of Lumina are what give you more Lumina points to allocate to your characters, which lets them equip even more Lumina for damage boosts and other benefits. A run for this farm takes about 90 seconds, so it's not as efficient as the Gargant farm, but it's great to have the option to farm Color of Lumina at the same time. Shout out to my friend Paris for showing me that one. Oh, and when you finish the battle, just hop the railing instead of going back down the stairs to get back to the flag more quickly. But to unlock every weapon's final perk, you need to get it to level 20, which means you need Grandiose Catalysts. My favorite farm for those is simply fighting groups of Noirs in the Dark Shores. Dark Shores is a small region, so you'll have no trouble finding these guys. Just head straight in the overworld map portal and you'll see them. You can get here pretty early, and you can even start farming these guys fairly efficiently at level 50 or so, but to do it really quickly, you'll need characters at least level 70. You can use the Mael Phantom Strike build here again, but if you need to give her more of a boost, the easiest way to do that is to add CL to the party, make sure her speed stat is higher than Mael's so she goes first, and then do a few free aim shots to hopefully trigger the burning shots and marking shots Lumina for a couple extra boosts. Just make sure you leave enough action points to use her Fortune's Fury skill on Mael to double her damage output. Then on Mael's turn, you can use Phantom Strike just like before to clean the enemies up fast. Clearing all 3 groups of Noirs will net you a guaranteed 7 Grandiose Catalysts every run, and it takes about 2 minutes with Mael and CL. But I actually like using Minoko to farm these guys even faster. You basically give him the same Lumina we've been using on Mael, and then use his Joyara weapon to ensure his Bestial Wheel starts on the Gold Almighty Mask. Then you use his Sakapatat Fire skill to just obliterate the enemies. Farming them this way takes about 90 seconds per run, but if you found Grauer, the merchant in Renoir's drafts, you can use the same build to farm Grandiose Catalysts from him super easily by just repeatedly challenging him. You'll probably need Minoko at least level 75 to do it efficiently, but it's super fast when you do. A run only takes about 20 seconds, Catalyst, and you're guaranteed 1 Grandiose Catalyst each time, plus at least 1 color of Lumina as well, and about 16k Chroma and 2 million XP, which are a nice bonus. You can also do something very similar by challenging Golgra in the Gestural Village. She'll give you 3 Grandiose Catalysts every time too, along with about 24k Chroma. Grandiose Catalysts will level a weapon from 20 to 32, but to max it out at 33, you need a perfect catalyst, and you're only going to be able to get 11 of those during the vast majority of your playthrough. You can farm them, but to do so, you need to reach and be able to beat some of the toughest challenges in the Endless Tower, which I don't want to spoil. But practically for most of your playthrough, there are only 11 perfect catalysts in the game, and one of them is actually missable. A lot of them are tied to the story and endgame content, so to avoid spoilers, I'll just quickly show you their locations here on the map. 4 come from defeating each of the 4 bosses in the Flying Manor. 2 come from defeating the toughest boss in the game, who's located inside the Abyss, which is in Renoir's Drafts. And 1 is also in Renoir's Drafts and comes from defeating the chromatic boss you'll find there. You also get 1 as a reward for clearing the final stage of the Endless Tower, which is stage 11 Trial 3. The Surfenfar boss, which is that big pink flying snake on the overworld map, will drop 1 when you defeat it as well. And the boss inside the painting workshop will give you 1 too. To unlock that, you need to enter each of the 3 portrait portals on the map and talk to the faceless boy in each one to get an item that you then use at the bottom of the painting workshop. Then, once you defeat the boss, you just need to make sure to talk with the faceless boy again to get the perfect catalyst. And the last one is the missable one. To get the 11th perfect catalyst, you have to have interacted with the trash can man during the prologue and then check the same trash can during Act 3. It's this one here, but sadly, I didn't find the trash can man in my first playthrough, so I couldn't get this one. But because there are so few perfect catalysts, and the others are really valuable as well, you need to know which weapons are best to invest in upgrading. That's why I made this video for you right here, where we go over all the best weapons in the game for each character. Or if you've already got your favorite weapons and you'd rather track down all the best Pictos and Lumina, you can check out this video on the left. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there in just a second.